People are starting to get very annoyed at ranked mode, but is their annoyance actually valid? Most likely, yeah. I mean, we don't really know if all the changes let's talk about in today's video are because of ranked mode, but a lot of people are, are of course speculating that it is. So what's going on, champs and champions? It's FireMonkey here, and you've already heard about some changes happening to the whole entire Fortnite mode as a whole, with the most recent update after the release of ranked, such as trios being vaulted. We had the whole entire mat cap lowered from 999 to 500, but today another hotfix has been pushed live to every single mode that has people a little bit concerned about the future of Fortnite and asking for Epic Games to make ranked mode have its own loot pool that is separate than the loot pool of normal battle royale, like zero build, public matches and that type of stuff. So let's start it off by talking about our beloved grenades. Grenades are an item in Fortnite that have not been changed in years, basically, right? For as long as I can recall being a Fortnite leaker, I can't remember ever tweeting about, oh, grenades have been modified in blah 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 way, or anything like that, right? It's just been something that's kind of existed, and if you found them in game, you could use them to get some challenges done or whatever. However, Epic Games, for the first time, as long as I can recall, have actually made a massive nerf to grenades, right? Now, firstly, I was surprised to see that we were seeing grenades nerfed, because this item felt like it was just the perfect item, right? It felt like there was nothing Epic Games had wrong with it, and it just kind of existed, right? So if we actually grab a grenade here, which we have 3 right here, before this would do 375 damage to builds. Now, I'm not sure how much damage or durability these walls have, but if we throw this down here, it shouldn't break any of them. As you can see, it didn't break anything, and as you can see, it only did 75 build damage. Whereas normally, this wall wouldn't have been one shot based on the grenade or whatever. It would have originally done 375 damage before this update, but now it has lost 300 of the actual damage modifier to it, so now it only does 75 damage to builds. This is a really wild nerf overall because, it's just been something that, you always knew a grenade to do, right? You never use grenades because, typically if you had your own strategy planned or you're just playing normally, you just wouldn't see them that often because there's a lot of other weapons to actually choose in the game, and grenades are, something that takes a while to actually activate, but they were still useful when you did use them because not only did they do damage to the builds and everything, and do a lot of damage to builds at the time, mind you, but they also could do 100 damage to players when they explode. Well, if you know anything about where today's YouTube video is going, then you'll know that player damage has also been reduced. Originally, it would do 100 damage, meaning if you threw a grenade down on yourself, even if you had overshield in Battle Royale, right, you would still do 50 normal damage to yourself because of it doing 100 damage. It could tank shield, it can tank health, depending on how your situation is. It could one-shot a player, right? Well, after the most recent update, and the hotfix update that went live earlier today, keep in mind this is a bot lobby, so this is, a public match. It's not even ranked mode or anything. If I go ahead and throw a grenade down on myself right here, stand on top of it, it won't even crack my overshield anymore. Instead of doing 100 damage, it has been nerfed down to 40 player damage, and it's just wild. It's like, what did the grenades do to an Epic Games employee for them to be like, you know what? That's it, we're nerfing this completely. I just don't see a point. Maybe it's where, ranked mode, maybe they don't want things to be destroying builds as often or whatever, but it still is doing a ton of player damage reduction as well with this hotfix update, and it's just wild to me. Now, something I don't typically pick up in these videos is snipers. However, I picked up a sniper for today's video because of a very important thing that also got changed. Because if you thought this video was just about grenades or the other recent changes Epic Games has made, such as, mats, you would be wrong, because the heavy sniper has actually been nerfed, and apparently my ability to drive has been nerfed as well. The heavy sniper did not get a damage reduction, so the damage it did before this hotfix update is still the same towards players. However, it did get an environmental damage destruction, reduction or whatever, so like builds, vehicles, that type of stuff. And for the rare rarity, instead of doing 600 damage to builds, it now only does 150. For the epic rarity, instead of doing 630 damage to builds, it only does 158. For legendary, instead of doing 660, it only does 165. And for mythic, instead of doing 690, it only does 175 build damage. Meaning that if I was to, for example, go over here, right, just casually drive my way to the unclaimed capture point and do all that stuff, and then I was to look at this wall with the rare heavy sniper, which before would do 600 build damage, it can't even break the wall. It can't even break this wall, and before this hotfix update, it would have one-shot that wall, right? Of course, I still would have had to reload and everything, but before the update, it would have taken me one bullet to actually destroy this wall entirely. However, after the update, using the rare rarity version, it now takes 3 shots. And keep in mind that the legendary, the highest rarity version, isn't that much easier. So if we actually do some math here, let's look at this wall. It has 300 damage on it, right? It has 300 total damage. If we take what the legendary version does, which is 165, we don't even have to really do math, but it basically would take 2 shots with the legendary version to fully break a basic wall here, right? Not even like a wall built by a player, but a wall that was built by the game itself. And this has been a very just weird change overall to see Epic Games do, and has led a lot of people in the community to ask for Epic Games to make the ranked loot pool and the stats and all that stuff different from the base game again, similar to how it was when we had the whole entire arena mode, because they don't like seeing all these random, you know, like balancing changes and stuff made to the pub matches and whatnot that they feel are kind of ridiculous and over the top, right? They feel that ranked mode should, you know, be more serious environment, while people should be able to enjoy playing public matches without having to worry about, oh, you know, this weapon has been changed to be basically useless after the update or whatever, right? And it's just been a very, very interesting spot. So I would love to hear in the comments down below, what do you guys think about these changes? What do you guys think Epic Games should do with ranked mode and public matches going forwards? Do you think they should find a way to do like they did with Arena and split up the loot pools and stuff like that? Or do you think we just kind of gotta live with it, right? Do you think we just gotta be like, well, that's just life for you, right? Shrug it off and enjoy going on with our day. And I thought my light just went off on me, so that was a little bit weird for whatever reason. But yeah, you know, this has been a weird little change Epic Games has made, and it's all the little hotfix update stuff we've gotten today. But I thought I would share the information with you guys, and I felt like it deserved its own YouTube video because it is, at the end of the day, a major change. Because an item that, you know, we've had and we knew how it worked for ages, like a grenade, now we throw it over there, right? Can it even break, like, the bench and stuff? Wait, how much? It can't even break a bench! Oh, okay, you know what? That just feels wrong to me, right? I know time's gonna go on, I'm gonna get used to how the grenades work and stuff, and I probably still won't use them as often, but it just feels so wrong. It feels so weird, and like it shouldn't be like that. And I'm just kind of baffled by the change, right? I'm just kind of like, you know, the heavy sniper one, I'm like, you know, that one is even weird to me. I don't even use snipers, but they were known to break builds because it was a sniper that, you know, was designed after real life snipers that were known to penetrate armor very easily. So seeing these weird little changes that are supposed to just, you know, be balancing things that don't just feel right to me, right? It doesn't match what I know the weapon as. It just is weird. Like, can it break these beds? I'm just curious to see what the grenade can and can't break anymore. Hold on, what's the 15 of 90? 15 of 90. So it can't break that. What about over here? What about like the, you know, little like pillows and stuff? Okay, it can break a pillow. It can break a table, but it can't break a bed or a bench. Noted. This is some very crucial information here. And I kind of want to continue this video just by going around and trying to break stuff. Because, like, look, for example, right? If it does 75 damage to an item now, right? Hitting something with your pickaxe twice is way better and faster than throwing a grenade down, right? Now, of course, you're not going to be focusing on the small objects in the match or whatever, but it's still something that you're sitting there and you're like, this just doesn't make sense. This just doesn't feel right, right? And another thing, katanas, the kinetic blade and everything, they recently made a change enabling those in tournament mode, meaning that it's enabled, or I mean disabling those in tournament mode, meaning that it's enabled in normal matches, right? It's enabled in ranked, but actual tournaments like FNCS or, you know, anything in the compete tab, it's disabled there. And it's like, they did this because of an exploit that has been going around. Now, I'm not going to share the exploit with you guys because, you know, I don't want to promote that type of stuff, but you probably could find it very easily on your own. But it's like they disabled it in cups, you know, tournaments, that type of stuff because of an exploit going around, yet they kept it enabled in normal modes. And because of the fact that normal modes are, you know, the same loot pool and connected directly to ranked mode, they kept it enabled in ranked mode as well. So it's like, if they care about their competitive scene and all that stuff, right? And they care about having it all set up so it's like, oh, you know, you're doing all this stuff, you know, there's this exploit going around that's causing people just to kind of cheat or whatever. We're just going to, you know, be like, it's disabled in FNCS, but normal ranked mode people, you know, people with the actual rank icon and everything, just deal with it. I hope it doesn't happen to you, shrug, right? Now, there have been a lot of exploits kind of been going around the community recently that have been related to items, you know, weird little things here and there. And all I'm going to say is I recommend not trying to do those exploits, right? And like not even in a bot lobby or something, because at the end of the day, you're doing stuff that could risk your account being banned. And it's a little bit different between, you know, doing like, oh, here's an XP map or whatever that gives you a ton of XP, and doing something that literally allows you to basically kill things without even being near them, you know, without them having a chance of killing you or defending themselves. And it's just like a very odd situation overall. So my personal opinion, I know it's a little side ramble or whatever, don't do things that could potentially get your account banned, such as exploits that, you know, relate to using the Kinetic blade or whatever. With that said, however, that's all your little like Fortnite update news and all that type of stuff. From the magical land of grenades being nerfed, the heavy sniper rifle being nerfed with player damage, or not player damage, but environment damage, and Kinetic blades having this weird little change going on with them where they're only disabled in tournament cups and everything. That the bot was walking so slowly. They were like slow walking in the middle of just the road. Okay. But, you know, with all that stuff going on, it's like, hey, this is a weird time for Fortnite. Now, I just hope in the future that maybe they'll split up the loot pool and stuff for ranked mode even more again, so that we can have just kind of like less of a reason to blame ranked mode for these changes happening to the game or whatever else. But with that said, my name is FireMonkey. Hope you champs and champions enjoyed today's YouTube video. If you did, consider subscribing to support the content I create. Like the video if you liked it, dislike if you didn't like it, and peace out.